Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And we're looking at a what I initially thought was labeled a horror film. However, despite the fact of what the storyline is, it doesn't seem to be labeled as a horror film. It's actually called as, well, I'm looking at Wikipedia's page, it's called an American comedy thriller film. Directed by Mimi Cave. I'm talking about Fresh, which just came out in 2022. Starring Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones and a few other people. Cast is very small. You've got Jonica T. Gibbs as Molly, Charlotte Le Bon, who I actually, for some reason, I thought she was possibly the daughter of Yasmin Le Bon, but sorry, Simon Le Bon and Yasmin Le Bon, but she's actually somebody else. Another actress, Deo Okiniya as Paul, Andrea Bang as Penny, and Brett Deer as Chad. Andrea Bang, I believe, is from one of the sitcoms that was a hit in the recent years, which I've never watched, but Kim's Convenience, I do want to watch it sometime soon. Anyway, we are looking at this movie because the storyline is that Noah, this young woman, she is having trouble with her love life. She goes on bad dates and stuff. She meets a guy played by Sebastian Stan who calls himself Steve, and he's supposed to be a surgeon. She meets him at a grocery store, and he starts flirting with her a little bit. They exchange numbers. They go on a date. They meet up at a bar, and then pretty soon they have sex. So after a few dates, he asks her to go away with him. Nobody knows where they're actually going, and he only mentions it as they're leaving, that he wants to take her to a particular place, but because of some bad traffic or some road work, he wants her to spend the night with him at his place and then leave in the morning. They go to his house, which is all secluded, very, very lovely big house out in the woods, hardly any neighbors, there's no neighbors around. And they go there. She's surprised by his apparent wealth, and so they settle down. They having a few drinks. He drugs her. She is unconscious. When she wakes up, she's tied up in one of the rooms. So Steve mentions that he is actually selling women's meat for a set of very, very filthy rich people who pay top dollar for the meat. Cannibalism, basically. What the basically it's wealthy clients for consumption. So that's how he makes a lot of money, even though he actually is a surgeon. So it actually is easy for him to not decapitate, cut off limbs and stuff like that. So he likes to keep them as fresh as possible and then sell to his clients. And he's got a couple of other women in it. So the whole thing is her friend, Noah's friend, her best friend named Molly, is trying to find her. She gets suspicious when she finds an image that Noah actually sends to her, but she does a reverse Google search and she finds out it's actually from some website about a particular place. She speaks to Paul, who is the bartender friend of hers, and who happened to serve Noah and Steve their first drink on their first date, their drinks on their first date. So from her, she managed to track him down, finds out that he is actually married, and his wife, Anne, played by Charlotte Le Bon, is actually in on him with him. And there's a couple of twists in it. So she goes to find out. She tries to go and meet the family, and then that's when she finds out that the wife is actually in on it. So that's the basic story. I don't want to spoil the movie for the ending for you, at least. This is basically what the movie is all about. Because it's a very new movie, I think you should try and watch it. It was okay. Now here's my review part of it. It was okay. I liked the setting. I liked the storyline. It got boring after some time, to be honest. Like I mentioned, it isn't scary. It is a thriller in parts of it. It says comedy. I couldn't find the comedy anywhere. I saw one moment that I actually laughed. So yeah, so will she be able to escape? What's going to be her fate? What's going to be fate of Molly? What's going to be the fate of Steve and his wife and Paul? Okay, maybe he was the only one who was a little bit funny towards the end, but otherwise, I didn't really see the. It was an okay movie. I don't think it's great. I'm not really sure I would ever watch it again because I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I was disappointed, to be honest. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the whole review I want to give for this movie called Fresh. Uh, Excuse me, I'm burping because I've been drinking a lot of water. Nice to see Sebastian Stan in a different role because I don't think I've seen him in much stuff other than other than his role as Bucky Barnes and the Winter Soldier. But I think I've seen him in a couple of other stuff, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. But that's basically it. I am really disappointed with this movie. 6.5 out of 10. Thank you guys. Have a good night.